Hey, deserving listeners, 90 Day Fiancé, Season 2, a long time ago. Let's watch.
You gave up that part of your life and being very proud and having your job and providing and building this life that you had built.
Mm-hmm.
Did you give up all of that for the adventure of a new life or for love?
I don't know. I cannot lie.
Okay, so good. She's asking some really great questions. And once again, Danielle is burying her face in his shoulder. So let's try to figure out what is going on with Danielle. That is kind of an embarrassing move. You know, I'm embarrassed. So if we imagine that she's 4 or 7, that children will do that, right? They are, you know, you're bringing your kids to a family gathering and Auntie so-and-so comes over, and you know that Auntie so-and-so and your child like each other because they've hung out before. But when you are first meeting, your child, you're like, oh, it's Auntie Jenny. Hey, you know Auntie Jenny. And your kid goes, and hides face in your thigh. And that's what it looks like to me. So with a 4-year-old, they're sort of overwhelmed usually. That's my interpretation of it. They want to reach out because they're like, oh, Auntie Jenny, I remember you. You're so much fun. But I don't know you very well, and I'm not as secure in you. And I hope that we can have fun. But sometimes when I reach out to randos in the family or other people, I get rejected. And so for now, I'm just going to bury my face in my secure base, which is my parent. And I just want I don't like this attention. I don't want all eyes on me because I don't know what to do with this situation. There's a lot at stake. And that's the impression I'm getting from her, is that from the outside, they are asking him, the two of them really, is your relationship legitimate? Are you really in love with each other? Or is this just a green card thing? And I think for her, she's overwhelmed with that question. And also, I think kind of embarrassed for him. That would be another guess, is that she's worried that he's going to get upset. Because I think he is prone to anger. We've seen that. Not terrible anger, but disapproval, stern voice. And I think she is like, oh no. And I think she's overwhelmed with that. She doesn't know what to do. And so she's hiding her face in shame because she just wants it to all go away and she wants to meld with him. She is very much thinking of him like a father figure, which is extremely worrisome. I just have to say, like, we've seen other behavior on the show that has obviously been worrisome, but this one, there's a particular, I don't know, there's a particular worry I have about Danielle, because if something goes wrong here, so Danielle fits a profile of someone that is an extremely easy target for victimization, extremely easy. This presentation lends itself very well to a perpetrator, even to people who wouldn't. Anyway, I won't go down that road, but I think that's why I'm worried about things so much. It also is just upsetting to watch someone exhibit a 3-year-old persona while the other person is exhibiting, you know, a 40 or 30-year-old persona.
If someone, I don't mean that it's not love, and no. If someone else, he's just gonna say, okay, yes, it's only about love.
Is this why you wanted me to watch? Because it is cringy. Danielle's a nice person. I think that Mohamed is a nice person, but there is something so about this scene, right? I mean, Danielle, like, what have you been through that is causing this behavior? It's, I guess it's embarrassment. It's cringing, right? It's like, oh no, Danielle, what are you doing? So I want to be clear. There's nothing pathological or wrong with what she's doing. She's not harming anyone. We've seen harmful behavior on the show, so Danielle isn't supposed to, we shouldn't shame her. We shouldn't mock her. But what this does for me is it just makes me extremely worried about her, not only now, but in the past, because we can imagine that this isn't the first time she's exhibited this behavior, and that she does this in all the relationships, romantic, that she's been in. So, oh boy.
If we talk about physically relationship, sure, I think about it, and Daniel is acceptable for me.
When you heard the word acceptable, Danielle, what did that mean to you?
The word acceptable for him means something different than what we think of it as.
That's possible, but his body language seemed to indicate that we're all on the same page. With, he's like, well, she's she's acceptable. So, I've been saying this before, that in Seattle, our culture, mainstream American culture, is that you fall in love, you're 1,000,000,000% attracted, you're 1,000,000,000% in love, you're 1,000,000,000% the best friend. Other people around the world, particularly, they don't get married with those kinds of ideals, at least from what I understand. So it doesn't mean that it's an illegitimate relationship or marriage. It just means that maybe he just has different priorities. And I will say that plenty of people get married that aren't necessarily, terribly attracted to their partner, and that's okay. We tend to look at that and say that it's not a legitimate relationship, and everyone's entitled to make up their own mind. Now, Danielle seems to be, we'll hear what she says, but she seems to be saying, let's hear what she says. I'll reserve judgment. Hey, deserving listeners, as y'all know, I am constantly recommending that people go to therapy. We all need therapy from time to time. Well, one of the options available that is definitely worth checking out is BetterHelp. If you're looking for a therapist, I would give it a try by going to betterhelp.com/Kirk. Make sure you use the promo code Kirk because you get 10% off your first month, and it really helps us out. As you watch these videos, I know many of you have been motivated to find your own therapist, which is great because you deserve it. And I know also that it can be hard to find a good fit, find the right one for you. Well, one of the options available in terms of your shopping is to go to betterhelp.com/Kirk. I've been told you can start communicating with your therapist in under 24 hours. You can message your counselor at any time. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions. I've also been told that it's often less expensive than in-person therapy, and you should know that this service is available to clients worldwide. So go to betterhelp.com/Kirk to get 10% off your first month today.
So how did you interpret it, coming from Mohamed?
I interpreted that he thinks I'm beautiful.
Another obstacle for you guys is your age. You're much younger. Did you guys talk about that much ahead of time?
So according to her, her interpretation is that she is beautiful. Now, maybe that's true, and maybe they've had a conversation about that, but that certainly wasn't the way it came across. But we don't know what's in his mind. So is it possible that that's true? Absolutely. That he does and is very attracted to her, considers her to be beautiful. It's also possible that she is creating a fantasy, or he's lying to her or something. I don't know. I worry about them. Again, maybe they live happily ever after and everything's fine, but let's watch.
Wedding, let's take a look.
It's not fair what you're doing. Waiting till the day of the wedding to decide.
So what do you want now?
Keeping my girls wondering if you're gonna be here and keeping me wondering.
I wonder if people think that Danielle is manipulative. I wonder if it's often an accusation that will be thrown out there. And I wanted to spell a little bit of that. It's possible that she's some sort of psychopath and a con artist and she's pulling one over. But usually when people, because this behavior that she exhibits sometimes, it seems over the top, a little histrionic, a little over the top. And as a way of trying to gain sympathy or something. Now, anyone would be stressed out in that situation, of course, but the way that I see it at this point is that when she is stressed out attachment-wise, she learned at an early age that the only way to get her attachment needs, and maybe the only way to remain safe, is to regress to that of a 4-year-old and to whine and to come across, because, when you decompensate like that, there's a natural tendency to feel bad for someone and to want to care for them. And if in her family she wasn't getting enough love and attention or safety and she felt like she had to do this all the time. So is it a manipulation? When a 10-year-old regresses to the age of 4 out of out of self-preservation, you wouldn't say it's manipulative. You would say that they do that because they have to. Now, I will say that some 10-year-olds will purposely regress to that of a 4-year-old, or more often it's like a 7-year-old that will regress to that of a 3 or 4-year-old. They'll change their speech patterns, and it's this, and it sometimes is a manipulation. But I wouldn't characterize what she's doing as consciously manipulative. I think it's much more of a personality trait.
That definitely got a lot of attention. I want to take a look.
I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss your bride.
I want to tell something about kissing, that I'm not allowed to kiss in this time, because there is some specific things we do it in my religion in this month.
All right, let me know in the comments if you know anything about Tunisian culture or the culture he is from in Tunisia, and if that makes any sense to you. I could see it making sense, and we'll take his word for it. I think he also is just particularly uptight about doing these sorts of things. I mean, isn't Ziad from Tunisia? And I think he kissed Rebecca at their wedding. Certainly kissed her even on camera. But, you know, we could see people being different. Maybe they're different, various different cultural manifestations in that country. He also might just be extremely uncomfortable with you know, public displays of affection, and that's okay. But again, it lends itself to this hypothesis that, is he actually in love with her? Is he actually attracted to her?
So was it only because of it was only because of Ramadan? So if you had gotten married outside of the month of Ramadan, you would have kissed her at the altar. I've been told you went to a friend of yours.
Was a friend.
No longer a friend.
No.
Why?
She was trying to get Mohamed to leave me. She was.
To leave you for her?
What? What? So wait, he left right after the wedding because the electricity got turned off. And I remember thinking, really? I mean, you get married, you're all in, supposedly. The electricity gets turned off, and it's like the final straw or something, and he moves out. But now this adds a twist. So he goes to this other woman's place, and she is no longer a friend, and this woman's trying to get with him. So, uh-oh.
That's wrong. She only tried to help me that 5 days I wasn't at home. That's it.
Okay, but why'd you leave? Like, marriages don't usually divorce a couple of days, or I think the day after the wedding, because of an electricity bill that didn't get paid. That isn't usually what happens. Now, he could make the argument, she lied to me about that, and she lied to me about all these other things, and I just couldn't take it anymore. Maybe they'll get to the bottom of it.
There's a lot of reaction that the story doesn't always feel like it's 100% truthful. Are you and Danielle being truthful about your relationship?
Yeah, we are.
And it takes time to work out, and we're still working it out.
All right, well, that is it for that episode. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.